Innovation in education and technology. Um, Actually, it's a very fascinating question. Um, there's a great temptation to get stuck with innovation, or get stuck with technology, or get stuck with education. A lot of people have been doing this and it doesn't help. Where it actually matters is you move away from that, saying that what is the problem you're trying to solve and what are you trying to do. Here we see a big problem wherein the world is moving faster, everybody are connected, they get to see what is in the rest of the world and have an aspiration that if I participate in a formal education system, I get to have a good life. And suddenly everybody believes in that, they come on, and all of a sudden the entire edifice, technology for the sake of technology, is no longer working because of people who are coming in are people who cannot afford it. Innovation for the sake of innovation is not working because people who have been innovating have been doing it for a different context. Education as it is delivered in a current form is not working because it is 100 years old and continues to be that way. At the same time, all three are required. The fundamentals which went into the education is required. The problem is massive, so you need to innovate. And we came to this situation because of technology. And if you want to scale, technology is the only way to do that. It forces you to think along with this, but come from a different direction. And that is what is interesting. And that thinking itself, realizing this and coming on with that, is the biggest innovation which happened. Okay, wherein you put this person, and when I say person, it happens at many levels. It is that single individual who wants to learn, and then all the people, and that is very funny with this learning and education. While most of the time it is tempting to think about just one person, that's a customer who buys it. In the case of learning and education, almost everybody are interested. So you take a typical learner, a child or a youth. The youth is interested, their parents are interested, their community is interested, the state is interested, the companies are interested. Pretty soon you find that everybody are the stakeholders. Okay, be that as it may. You take them, put them in the center. Okay, and also take into consideration that single person who's out there, where all the typical barriers, okay, they have a social barrier, they have an economical barrier, they have a language barrier. You talk about technology, it is all English centric, whereas 90% of the world don't talk English. Okay, so you look at all these things, put this person in the center, take all these things, use technology, use innovation, at the same time stick to fundamentals, and bring it all together to help that one single person get access to education. Number two, make it interesting for them. Okay. Number three, make them realize the outcome with which they participated in that, because after all, they are investing their lives. You ask them to come into a school or consume education full-time for 10 years, 14 years, 20 years. They are making an investment of their entire life. Okay, so you have to bring that outcome. So you take all these things, put it right in the center, and then bring the fundamentals of education, technology, innovation, everything around to make this individual successful. Because the moment the individual is successful, the family is successful, the community is successful, the company's economy, country, everything is successful. Do that, and that is what we focused on. So when you look at the edges, okay, yeah, there have been enough sign. You put a website, you deliver it through internet and all those things. Yeah, that's a necessary condition, not sufficient. But then all of a sudden you look at all the changes which have happened around you. So one of the biggest change which has been going on is this entire thing around personal devices. Earlier it was a mobile phone. Today you get smart devices like a tablet or something. I'll show you an example. So you take this tablet device. Okay. Now, if you look at the individual, here is a tablet device which they can, in Indian condition, get it for, let's say, around 4,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees. Okay. So here you take this device and say that it is not a cute app which is again a lot of things which happen around the technology. It is not the seduction of technology, but empowering an individual to have this available. And we looked at it not as a device, we looked at it as an access mechanism. So here is an individual who is out there. If you go to the non-urban areas, in the developing areas, there is no constant power. They don't have net connectivity. Okay. So here, oh, it works out of battery. Great. And then whenever you go to a net heavy environment or a power heavy environment, you charge it, you get the whole thing in here and then use it. Great. Oh, so this is in Indian rupees, this is around. So we created something called Classel Slate. Okay. And the usage of Slate is very interesting because we made it even look like Slate is in the local. It is the equivalent of a blackboard which the kids carry around. So we put the metaphor in there, wherein all your thing you get it in here. Well, this is around 4,000 rupees. Suppose suddenly this 4,000 rupees, if you take it to 1 billion people, that's a lot of money. Not everybody can spend 4,000 rupees. So we said that this is good. We have brought it down from 50,000 rupees, that is our PC, to 4,000 rupees. Great. But then what do you do next? So then that's when we said that, hey, everybody wants to own this. So give them their personal thing. We can always say, come to a common area and read it. Give them something personal so that their personal thing they are able to carry. So we came up with this entire concept called Tumbi. Okay, Tumbi is again it is taken from our vernacular. It stands, a dragonfly in Tamil is called Tumbi. Okay, so we took that. This is nothing great. I mean, this is a thumb drive. Okay, but then you have the thumb drive and you put a dongle to this and connect this. So the Slate application just becomes a shell. Moment you connect it, now you're on. Once you're done, you take it out and go. So all of a sudden, the cost drops. Earlier we dropped it from 40,000 or 50,000 to 4,000 or 5,000. Now it drops to 50 rupees or 100 rupees. Suddenly you find that you get an order of magnitude or 2 orders of magnitude more people getting participate with the same cost. So every step you could see that, yeah, we are innovating because nobody has thought about it like this. Okay, they all assume it is a personal device and so on and so forth. The shift in thinking with the user in the center and the user in the context in the center made us come. So if you take from the PC to here, we are talking about 3 to 4 orders of magnitude increase in scale of impact for the same cost. And then we go on from there and say that, oh, okay, we all think, especially the technology world, I'm talking to you in English, though I'm a native, my mother tongue is Tamil. So we see that in the technology world, it is all English centric. No, you go to a kid and say that for you to participate and consume that the necessary condition is English, you have excluded 90% of the population. So we went one step further and what we said was, hey, this is a tablet device. This, you interact at the tactile level, you use your fingers to interact with that. Guess what? When I was a child, because I grew up in a resource limited environment, when I was a child, we learned our alphabets by writing with our finger in the sand. Okay, so here's my finger, this responds to finger, so let us do that. Okay, so here is something which we are building. So what we do, we take this and so this is an alphabet I'm writing. I'm just showing you the initial part of the prototype. Still the development work is going on. So essentially the kid, the way they are using, which is natural for them, they are not used to keyboards, they are not used to typing, they don't have to learn English, but they can use their own natural format. So it is going back to the basics. Think about it. Could you ever figure that we got to use innovation to go back to our natural self? But that's how it ended up getting to. And that's a big insight for us, that it is not the seduction of technology, but starting from a place where it is natural and taking them there. Okay, so that you go back to the fundamentals. So all these things put together is what we are bringing. Use technology, stick to the fundamentals. If the child learned it by writing with the chalk or with a finger, yeah, give that. Okay, and use technology and think differently. Use innovation. have to bring access to keep them engaged. Now when they are writing with the hand, it is no longer foreign. It is natural. At the same time, make sure that there are a lot of smarts which are put in there so that the outcome which they desire is met. And that is the core of what we set out to do, and we are doing. People always used to ask, so what about the content? It's funny. There's a lot of research which has been done on this. A lot of papers have been published. There's something called learning styles. Okay, so it is not just giving content which is important. It is equivalent to saying that, hey, okay, you want to be a smart person, just build a big library and everybody will be fine. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, so the content is a necessary condition but not a sufficient condition. Couple of things needs to happen. First of all, the content has to be available in the context. Okay, so if there is somebody who's, let's say, in the 5th grade, okay, and learning physics as a part of the class, the content has to be 5th grade physics to begin with, and it has got to fit into their syllabus. Okay, because that's how they think. Because most of their compelling moment is not going to be spent with their devices, it is going to be spent with somebody who's a role model, who's a teacher. Okay, and they think on those lines. So you take that first. Next, oh, this person is 5th grade physics in some place in Burma. Okay, which means when you explain the physics, okay, you cannot talk about avocado. You got to be talking about something which is closer there. You got to put it in context. Similarly, some would be auditory, some would be visual, some would be text oriented. So you give the diversity, an ability for diversity. Again, innovation has to come into this, because in today's world, content is cheap. Have you seen YouTube lately? You get all and sundry. Okay, and you don't like it, you take your mobile phone or something, take a video and just put it out there. Take a picture, put it out there. So it is so easy to create. Okay, what we give is you publish this and an ability to put it in context. So bringing it in context is another innovation with content. Okay, because now the content takes a different notion. The content is not the single piece. It is a frame as a content where you have slots inside into which you put the content, so that the whole thing is customizable, personalizable to you, to that individual. So essentially what we are looking at is doing this sleight of hand, this innovative look, suddenly brought it to a level wherein we can customize it and personalize it to every single child. We can target 1 billion children at the same time and personalize it to each individual. Okay, how do we do that? It's pretty easy. Already there are systems out there. You go to retail space, you go to e-commerce space like Amazon or so on. They have a recommendation engine which understands you and then pipes it to you based on your background, profile, and so on and so forth. So all the technology is available. Okay, it is understanding the customer. I use the word customer. That is the crux of the problem. You take that learner and treat them as a customer and think in terms of making them successful. Okay, all of a sudden the rest of the things fall in place. Content is big. That's what they consume, but they got to consume it in the context. It has got to be interesting and it has got to make them successful. It should be the way they think. A lot of people think that you throw content, it's done. No, it's not done. Learning is incredibly a social activity. It is not a command and control activity. Teaching is a command and control activity. Okay, wherein the teacher stands there and tells things. Okay, but learning is an incredibly social activity, an incredibly a cyclic activity wherein there's a lot of interaction. After all, what is learning? You internalize the whole thing and then able to see it in the rest of the world. That's what learning is. It is knowing that particular concept so that you can subsequently wield it and see it everywhere. That is all about learning. Okay. So feedback is required. Feedback to show that you have learned, not by taking a test, but showing it in context. How does this happen? Hey, can you explain it to your friend? That shows how you learned it. Okay. Given the context, can you dream up of a way wherein you can say it in your own words, in your own context? Can you create a content based on what you learned? Okay, that's a feedback, and you got to give them a way for it. You got to legitimize them publishing it, and legitimize others taking it, giving their views on that. You make the whole activity social. Today, the education system has made it incredibly impersonal. There's a teacher, they will say, then you observe, and then they will give a test, and you say whether you understood it or not. Everything is dipstick. Okay, and it is very collimated. It's a feedback, not just as a closing the loop, but in multiple ways to show that you have understood, and putting it in context wherein it is natural for you to express what you have understood. And that is what is a key in the learning area. And in our overall scheme of things, not only we personalize to the individual, we also make the individual talk back. To begin with, how they used it, what they liked, what they moved to as a way of feedback, what all they did as a way of feedback, also them taking part in this, okay, as a way of feedback. Is it feedback? Maybe. Okay, it's also a feedback, but they are now actively participating. And that is where the whole thing becomes extremely rich and interesting. Innovating to bring experts into the education system. Again, if you look at it, it's pretty fascinating. First of all, experts are not available everywhere. They tend to be inherently not available where the learners are there. Okay, they are all there in their own place, doing all the activities of an expert. But experts also have another criteria. Experts are kind of people, you ask them once, they just can't not tell. Okay, that's the thing about expert. You ask me anything, I just can't shut up until I've just beaten you to death that you have understood. That's the nature of the expert. So the expert always wants to express what they know, and because they love it, for them it is, they have internalized, it is them, and they are talking about themselves. And who doesn't want to talk about themselves? Okay, so that is how the experts are. First thing is, we need to make those experts participate and make the expertise flow to the people who want it. So we need to bring them, connect them. So there's a little bit of activity which is involved in making them take part in the social system. Number one. Then the next thing is, you just cannot stand up and start talking, right? So there's got to be a prompt. So have a workflow wherein the person who doesn't understand is able to express what they don't understand. It's either they express what they don't understand, or they express something where it shows a lack of understanding. Both are good. It is like how when I was learning golf, one of my friends said, I was about to go and take a golf lesson. He said, no, are you crazy? It'll cost you a couple of $100 per sitting with an expert. And what do I do now? I'll tell you. On a Saturday, go to a driving range, okay? Just wait for a little while. Look at the guy who's really hitting it very well. Find the next station there and hit a couple of lousy balls. I'll tell you, the guy cannot tolerate it. He'll come and start teaching you, okay? It served me very well, believe me on this. So we are all incredible critics, rather than get up and start talking, because we don't know whether what we are talking will be relevant. So what we did was an ability for them also to look at this. And one thing I uniformly found was everybody who have crossed a particular threshold in their knowledge feels so much for others to know it. So it's just bringing it together in a system. We make them moderators, we make them curators, and tell them, hey, could you give me 45 minutes a week? Is that 45 minutes? In your 24-hour cycle? Not a problem. So the rest is putting the workflow in reaching out to them, tapping their shoulders and saying that, hey, listen, there is something here. What do you think? So the moment they see it, if it's a question, they can't stop but answer it. They do that. And most of the time what they end up finding out is, in today's content-rich world, they find that somebody else has done a good job, they just link it. So what is 45 minutes ends up being just 5 seconds. Okay, they just go do a search, find it, link it, and it's all done. Alternately, somebody puts it, suddenly they can't stop but correct it. They start correcting it. Okay. So the essential thing is bringing them into a workflow and putting it in such a way that understand that they are caught up in their own world. So if you want their attention, have a workflow to get their attention without bothering them and do it at their own pace. All these things we built it into our overall process. While we talk about the expertise side, where we found to our greatest surprise this workout is with vernacular language. Okay, wherein there are experts who came from vernacular background and have moved on like me. I mean, I whole my life I spoke Tamil, but I ended up going all over the world. So when a learner out there who's from a vernacular background asks, I think I understand, but I don't think I understand it in English. The expert sitting somewhere, okay, who also came from the background, quickly explain it in vernacular, and here they don't have to type it or something, they just talk it into a camera or they write it in a sheet of paper and take a picture and put it in and send it back. And that worked out terrific. And all of a sudden I could see that 90% whom nobody is addressing, and all the technology, all the innovation, all the progress in the world which is leaving them out, all of a sudden we can bring in the resources to target them and make them successful.